Hopefully you can hear me over the highway, but we're trying something a little bit different and new today. Doing some scouting for deer hunting and maybe turkey, I guess, if we find turkey sign. But we're out on the new public land unit that we drive by most of the time to go to our spots, and it's right off the highway, as you can tell. I got a little bit of footage just looking down into it, and basically it's just a river bottom, and it's almost entirely surrounded by a highway and the river. And I've always thought about coming out here to check it out and scout it, see if it looks good for deer hunting, but never have gotten around to it. And I always figured it wouldn't be very good because I didn't know if the deer would have enough food on this isolated little spot here. It's not all that big. It's a decent sized area, but wasn't sure if they would have enough food just in this river bottom, and I wasn't sure that they would want to cross that highway. It's a really busy highway, and I figured they'd get hit by a car before they got to be big deer. But we found out that they can probably cross under the bridge down there along the river, so I'm probably just going to check that out and see if there's a heavy crossing down there. And if they can cross that, then they can get to some ag fields out there not too far away, and they should be able to get pretty big, and there should be a lot of deer in here if they're doing that. So I'm just going to check it out today, see if I think it'll be good for deer hunting, and maybe do a little bit of scouting and try to figure out how they're using the area. If they're crossing under that bridge, it should be pretty easy to figure out how to hunt this area, and I'm hoping that it's a overlooked public land spot. You know, we almost always drive by it to go to our other places, and there's rarely people parked here. Sometimes there is, but a piece like this can handle a little bit of hunting pressure as well, and it definitely doesn't get pounded like a lot of the other areas. So I'm excited to check it out. Hopefully we find some good spots. I'm finding a lot more natural browse in this area than I thought I would, and perhaps it's enough that it would just sustain these deer and they wouldn't have to cross that highway at all to get to more feeding areas. But as you can see, I'm standing in this really green patch of stuff in this dried up slough here. I'm sure when it floods it fills up with water, but it was dry, must have been dry last summer, and it grew up with this really green stuff. Almost looks like brassicas, and a lot of the stuff that I found down in the marsh unit that I know the deer really tore up. And I can see that it's all browsed pretty heavily, and it's already greening back up again, and it's only the 17th of March. So this is actually a pretty good find here in an area that you could probably key in on, even though it is small. It's an area that they're probably going to stop through and stop by and feed in here for a while. And it looks like it goes down there quite a ways on this slough, so pretty cool find, and I'm sure they're eating in here. Well, I'm just about finishing up down in here. I found some decent sign so far. At first I was a little discouraged not finding quite as much, and I'm not sure how good our original theory is that they cross under the bridge and go to the ag fields down there. There were some trails down there that they're definitely doing that a little bit, but I'm not sure if that's the main food focus around here, is to go all the way down there and cross under the bridge, feed, and then come back. But I did find that this is a lot bigger than it really looks on maps, and there's a lot of natural browse in here, so it could be that they're just sticking in this area and not doing that at all, and there could still be some good bucks in here. And anytime you find a spot that doesn't receive as much hunting pressure, it's just a pretty good chance that there's going to be some mature bucks in there, especially after they get pushed in here during the gun seasons, or maybe when everyone else is hunting. During the first 2 weeks of November is really a busy time as well. But I'm finally getting into some pretty good buck sign, and I thought I'd show this area right here. There's quite a few rubs all around me here, and a lot of trails kind of come to and from this area. It kind of creates like a bicycle wheel of trails leading out of this little willow patch here, and I'm pretty sure it's a buck bed. there's some indentations all around, and there's one especially good one over there that I'm almost 100% sure is a bed, and there's a lot of rubs right here marking their territory, I guess. So this is probably a buck bed and a spot that I'm going to mark on the maps and keep in mind for sure. But get into some more buck sign, and we're going to do a little bit more scouting and then head out. But I think this could be a good spot. Well, I'm heading out now. Pretty glad I went and did this scouting mission. I learned a lot about this spot for only being in here probably an hour and a half or 2 hours. So very effective little scouting mission. And I wanted to make this video just to, remind you guys to not overlook these spots, and try to seek out some of these overlooked spots that a lot of other people don't hunt. And it can usually pay off. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more scouting on this place to really determine if it's worth hunting or not. And this would be a good area to run a trail camera during next fall or over the summer, just to get an inventory at least of some of the bucks that are in here and some of the deer. Try to get a feel for some of the patterns and just determine if there's any quality bucks in here. So that might be the next step. I might walk it again some other time, but glad I came out here and learned a little bit about it. But I'm gonna call it a day for now. So anyway, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to Runk Outdoors, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.